Hey everybody, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. Just trying to get the camera straight here. How's everybody doing today? Paragirl Life Notes is already in the chat. Hot happenings in Cali. How about you, Mr. Tool Guy? Hey, I hear you. How you doing, Paragirl Life Notes? Hope everything's good for you. Yeah, it's warm out here, but last time I checked, it was about 76 degrees. So it's not, it's not desert hot out here, but it's warm. you know. So I'm trying to stay hydrated. I got my water here, to make sure that I don't pass out in front of you guys on live, on live YouTube. That wouldn't be too good, would it? But anyway, guys, yeah, today, I wanted to jump into a topic that I feel is very important to discuss. Once again, this channel is about tools and home improvement and DIY and the trades and all that. But on our lives, it's a little bit less formal, and we talk about not just home improvement, but self improvement as well, because, our first home is this right here, right? This right here, that's our first home before a building or anything that we're fixing on or working on or anything like that. So, we want to make sure that this is also in good shape, right? We want to make sure this is also in good shape. We want to make sure that our life is in good shape. And how do you tell if your life is in good shape? Well, some things are pretty obvious, right? We can look out on the street and say, hey, man, that guy's life is not in shape because look where he's living. He's living on the street. But doesn't mean just because you have a building and you're living in a home and you got a family and everything is cush that your inner life is in shape, right? It could be in shambles, right? We all know that, right? It looks good on the outside, but in the inside, it's just falling apart. And so on the lives, I tend to get into self improvement topics and stuff like that. And today's going to be one of them, right? But it's still related to what I do on a daily basis as well, which is to teach people a trade. And I'll try to draw the parallels between the topic and what I do on a day to day basis. So, what's the title? The title is "Don't Wait Till You're Ready." Don't wait till you're ready. If tell me in the chat what do you think I mean. Type a comment in the chat. What do you think I mean when I say don't wait till you're ready? Okay, because that may not make sense, right? You got to be ready before you do anything, right? That's absolutely true. But there is such a thing as waiting too long, making sure everything is perfect before you take that step. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of us make, right? That's called perfectionism. Well, some people take it to that degree. Perfectionism, procrastination, which is it's an effect of that perfectionist type of spirit that a lot of us have, and it's I think it's a reflection of fear and anxiety, in my opinion. Okay, fear and anxiety. And where does fear and anxiety come from? It comes from lack of planning and lack of clarity. Okay, if you are not clear about what you want in life, then you're going to be pretty much tossed to and fro by the ocean of life and all the things that can happen. Things that happen on a daily basis that you have no control of because you're just like a boat floating on the ocean with no rudder, as they say, right? So of course you're going to have fear because you don't know where you're going and you have no control. You have no control. Okay, so the point of this live is to bring some clarity, especially to the young people looking for some direction in their life. Uh, and when I say young, I don't necessarily mean kids. We're all young at heart, right? But especially for the younger generations who are looking for some direction in their life, and they need some kind of guidance. And I'm not saying I'm the guru in that sense, but I will try to provide some uh, some form of guidance today in this live. Okay, so like I said, perfectionism is a very, very dangerous quality to have because perfectionism will make you stay in a place so long that you never get anything done, right? Because it's never good enough. It's absolutely never good enough. And you may know some people like that, right? You may know people like that. It may be you yourself that's a perfectionist, right? But at some point, something has to be good enough. I guarantee you, every building that was erected on the planet is not to spec perfectly to spec. There is something that's off, right? There is always room for improvement, right? So But if that person didn't say finalize those plans and say, okay, it's ready, then they'd be there trying to make it perfect. And that's just not practical. It's just something that, it's just get rid of that perfectionist attitude. All right. Very Good Life Note says a person should plan and research options in how to this or that and how to do this or that. But being premature as well as being stagnant, unfortunately, might carry the same type of pain. That's a very good point, Very Good Life Notes. You don't want to be premature either. I'm glad she brought that up because that's the other side of the spectrum here that does need to be pointed out. Okay. She says there's a difference between perfectionist and excellence. Yes. Yeah, you don't want to be premature. You don't want to do a half, as they say, half-ass job on something and think that's going to fly either. But at the same time, like I said, if you're, trying to make sure every little detail is going to be perfect, it's going to be just spot on, that may be the case, right? But I guarantee you there's something that can always be improved, right? And I noticed that sometimes with some of the students in my, in the class that I teach, which is a welding class, right? They bring their welding to me and they ask me to look at it and say, hey, is that okay? Is that okay? And I say, yeah, you can improve on this, you can improve on that. Go back and do that, right? And they come back and it's better, right? But some of them may seem like, hey, it's still not good enough. I say, no, relax. It's good. It's good. You can take that from me. Go tell everybody I said that. That's good. Now you can go practice some more and make it even better if you want, but that's pretty good. The reason I tell them that is because I don't want them to have a defeatist attitude, right? To think that they are not doing good at all, right? Because that could be very demoralizing as well, right? So I tell them, yeah, that's good. You're improving. It's looking good. Even if it's not up to spec yet, they need to hear that they are progressing, right? That they're moving along the road of progress, and they need to know that, right? Because if you don't tell them that, then a lot of them just, they fall into this spiral of, oh, I can't get it. It's never good. Help me out. And that's just as bad, right? That's just as bad. So I try to be as encouraging as I can because I myself, I'm not perfect either, right? When it comes to certain things, and I'm learning as well. So I definitely don't want to pass on. I don't want to pass on any feelings of, lack of confidence. You're not doing it right. This, that, and the other. Just think of if you had kids, right? Do you always want to be coming down on your kids because they haven't done something right? That's the worst thing you can do to your kids, right? You want to tell them, hey, yeah, you did that part right, but you can improve here, right? You can improve over here, right? Just go back and do that again. But you're doing really good. You're doing really good. I'm proud of you. Those things, they need to hear that stuff, right? It really builds them up, and it builds their confidence. And next thing you know, they're doing really good. That's just how, so we have a part to play as teachers, as, parents or whatever, siblings. Okay. Whatever you want to call it. We have a part to play in how someone does in life. Okay. Just our words alone. Purdy Do. Hey, Purdy Do. I haven't seen you in like years, man. Where you been? Glad to see you here, Purdy Do. Build them up. That's right. Build them up. Because you got to understand, especially in today's day and age, a lot of young people and older people are constantly bombarded by images of success. They look online on social media, and that's all you see, right? It's just come from left, right, hit, and it's like, and you question yourself, say, those people are doing so good. Why am I in this position, right? Because all that's a show. Everybody's going to put their best foot forward when it comes to social media and stuff like that. You're going to see the good side. You don't see the other side of things, right? And if you're a kid, right? If you're a kid and you're just forming your first opinions of the world, and this is all you're getting, that can be very stressful to try to live up to that, right? Purdy Do says, catching you on the replay of summertime is busy times. I get you, Purdy Do. I get you. I hear you, man. Purdy Do. Good to see you here, though. Glad to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. So yeah, you get on your phone and all you see is cars and money and people talking about success and this is what you got to do to be successful, selling their courses and stuff and on how to do this, how to be a success and stuff like that. And you're like, man, constantly bombarded by this. And when you compare your life to theirs, at least what they show on social media, right? It can be, like I said, it can be demoralizing to some people, right? Especially to a kid who has a kid who is not as attractive as maybe someone they see on social media, who doesn't have any friends, who doesn't have the network, the connections, and all this stuff that's constantly bombarded. So that we're bombarded by, and not just kids, like I said, older people as well, right? Because this is a new social currency is a new currency, right? And that's just the way it is. It's not how much money you have; it's how much followers, subscribers, and all this stuff, right? That people gauge success by today, right? That this is what a lot of people, right, see as success and see as social. What's the word? Upward mobility in the world of social media and all this good stuff, right? So if we're not careful, we're going to be swept away by that, right? We have to be this. We have to uphold a certain image, and if, like I said, that can be a very dangerous path to tread, right? So we definitely have to keep an eye on that when it comes to our own inner peace, right? Sometimes you got to get away from that stuff and just shut it off and concentrate on what you got to do. Like I said, I'm not on social media for any of that stuff to be some big time influencer. I'm on here to educate. And yes, I will admit this is a form of marketing for me because I do have a business and everything. But my sole purpose on here is to educate and put forth an image out there for those who don't necessarily see guys like me talking about this stuff. This is to inspire them as well, or inspire anybody who has aspirations or who are being something greater than they are right now. So, yeah. So we got to learn to identify our enemies. And what's that enemy again, guys? Put it in the chat. Perfectionism, procrastination. Perfectionism and procrastination. Okay. Why do you procrastinate in the first place? Like I said before, fear and anxiety, right? The killers of progress. Fear and anxiety are the killers of progress. Okay. That's why, when students come in and they get, I teach at a welding school, and most people that come into the school have no idea what welding, they've heard about it, they've seen it on YouTube or whatever, but this is something that they want to learn. And they're dealing with a lot of technical terms. They're dealing with machines. They're dealing with electricity, and then it's probably been a long time that they've sat down in a classroom and heard actually sat through a lecture on something like this, an actual lecture, right? Where you're talking about terms of, so that can be kind of intimidating to some people, right? But I got to give it to the students, right? Any of you students watching, by the way, congratulations on sticking it through. You only got a couple of weeks left, and then you'll be certified. Okay, so I'm proud of you guys. Stick it through, and hey, the sky's the limit after that. All right. So, yeah, it can be intimidating to some people, right? But once you get in there and you feel welcomed, that's very important as well, to make someone feel welcome and to dispel any fear and anxiety that you may have about a task that you're about to approach, like the students do, right? And you go in there with confidence, and that's half the battle right there. You go in there with confidence, and that's half the battle. Okay. You have to walk into a situation where it's like you got to say to yourself, I won already. Okay, everything that's about to happen is just the steps that it took for me to win, and I already won. That's it. You have to have a winner's attitude, a conqueror's attitude, and I guarantee you get much further in life having that attitude. So get all the fear and anxiety out. Kick it out the door, right? Then you gotta know what you want, right? You gotta know what you want. In the class, our students they get to try all four welding processes, right? You have four welding processes: MIG, TIG, flux core, and stick. So in the first couple of weeks or week and a half, all the students get to try all four processes, right? And then from there, they get to choose which one that they want to focus on. After that, then they are steered into those two processes that they want to focus on. They get certified in those two. The parallel to that is clarity, right? They first get immersed in the processes and all the welding processes, and then from there they have to decide, right? They have to make a decision and say, okay, I'm clear, right? Clarity. I'm clear on these two processes. This is what I want to pursue right here. The ones that waffle back and forth and don't know what they want, they don't progress because they're jumping from here to there to there. And that's another lesson in life. If you keep jumping around to different things, right? That could be good for a minute, right? To get experience. And that's what the beginning phases of the class does. You know, you get to jump around to different processes, right? You get to learn all the processes, how they work, and everything. But then at a certain point, you have to decide which ones that you want to pursue, right? Which ones you want to get certified in. And that's very important, because without that clarity, then you can't move ahead. And that's just a life, that's just a life period. And you have to be able to see down the road as well, see the importance of what you're learning, right? So if you're learning two processes, you have to you have to know, okay, I'm going to get into this job later, or I want to pursue this type of welding later. This is what I want to get strong in. This is what this is what I want to do. So clarity is very important. Okay. Let me see who else is there. All right. Yeah. So, like I said, guys, getting clear is a very important part of the process. I don't know if this may be a crude analogy, but let's just say you're a scuba diver, or just a swimmer or whatever. You jump into the pool, right? You jump into the pool, you get used to the water and everything. But when you jump in, it's a lot of splashing and stuff going around, right? It's a lot of splashing. You can't even really see. You can't see until all that splashing and stuff, all the bubbles and everything from diving in, until you're still, until all that settles, you can't see anything. So that's kind of the analogy of what I'm getting. Until everything gets clear, you can't see anything. You have no sense of direction. You don't know where to go, because it's not, you can't see. But once you can see and you understand, hey, this is what I want. Okay. I know that's over there. I know that's over there. That's the shiny object over there. And that's the shiny object. Oh, that looks attractive. That looks good. That looks good. Everything looks good. Right. And, but if you're pulled in every direction by every little shiny object, then you won't go anywhere. Right. You got to say, okay, that's the one I want to go for. That's the one I want to go for. And that's what I'm going for. And you got to stick to that. And you got to cast aside all the negative beliefs you have, all the self-talk about, hey, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm scared to do this, I'm scared to do that. You got to throw that out the door. That has to go. You got to kick it out. All right. You got to kick it out. And then you got to go for it. All right. Now, perfectionism and procrastination are, I would call them sisters or brothers, right? They're two sides of the same coin, right? One of the reasons people procrastinate, it's not that they're not going for what they want, but they don't know when to take it to the next level, because they're too busy trying to perfect the elementary stuff, right? And yes, you should master something on an elementary level. You should master the basics of something, right? But if you can't get ahead because you think something is not good enough, then all that shows is lack of confidence, right? Because all you're saying to yourself is, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And that will kill any form of progress in your life at all. So if you see that, if that's going through your head all the time when you jump into something, you got to kick that one out too. If you want to forge ahead to the higher heights of success or progress, or whatever that means to you in your life. Okay. So yeah, there's a point where it has to be good enough, regardless of what you think. It has to go out there, right? And if it's not, if it's obviously not good enough to others, then yeah, maybe you need to improve, right? But if everybody's saying, hey, that's good, get some feedback from other people. Yeah, that's good. Don't worry about it. That's good. Yeah, it's fine. It's good enough. Then it is. Then move on. You can always improve as you go. I find that when I am able to move ahead and say, okay, that's good enough there, then then the final product is much better than I expected, right? Rather than me trying to stay in that same position, hacking away at that thing, trying to make it good. No, you just make it worse that way, right? Trying to be a perfectionist, you actually make it worse. So just know when to stop, find that sweet spot to say, yeah, that's good enough. Time to move ahead, right? Get that feedback from other people and move ahead. That's how you got to do that. Okay. All right. Well, Very Good Life Notes still around. Very Good Life. The way to combat the I can't is to examine the issue and research. Okay. Then execute. That's right. I can't is typically based on a lack of knowledge. Yeah. But sometimes people know a lot, but it's not that they don't know Parago Life Notes. It's the fact that they're not confident. They're not confident enough to take things to the next level, right? They're scared. They're still stuck in the fear and anxiety mode. They think that they are not good enough, even though they may be the most knowledgeable person in the world, right? They still may not take that leap, all right? That leap to the next level because they don't have that one ingredient, which is confidence. And, that, of course, there's a crude term like I don't give a F type of attitude. Sometimes you got to have that. You got to have that I don't care attitude, right? I don't care what anybody else thinks. This is good. I'm doing this. The people that do that in the world, with some, let me temper that statement there. You don't want to be reckless. No, I'm not trying to say you got to be reckless, but in a sense, you have to have a I don't care type of attitude. I know it's good enough. I put my all into this, and I'm moving ahead regardless of what anybody else thinks, right? That shows confidence, and that's what's going to get you to the next level, right? But the execution part, Parago Life Notes, is very important as well, right? You can research. We all know people that research forever. Oh, I got to do more research. Oh, I got to go back to the lab. I got to go back to the lab. I think I can tweak this. I think I can tweak that and make it better. And when they go do that, it's still not good enough, right? I mean, how many of us know people like that? Or are we like that ourselves, right? That is just that's the worst, right? Because you're essentially you're in hell. You're in the hell of perfectionism. Okay, and that's one of the worst places to be because guess what? The guy who is not a perfectionist, the guy or girl who's not a perfectionist, they're gonna pass you up leaps and bounds, right? Because because they're not stuck. They're not stuck, right? In fear and anxiety and waiting for everyone's approval, right? That's if you're trying to please everyone, then that's not going to happen, right? You're not going to please everyone. If you have a people pleaser type of attitude, then I feel for you because you're gonna have a rough time in life, right? So you have to have that I don't care attitude, and of, let's just say you have a business and you have customers. Of course, you want to please them as much as you can, but even then, right? You can't please every customer, right? It's always going to be somebody that just does. It's not you, it's them. They just never satisfied. Anybody know anybody like that? Just never satisfied at all. Just always has something to say, something negative. Sometimes every now and then I see it in the comments on my videos, right? It's like, okay. And I just respond, okay, whatever. What's the point of me arguing with these people on the internet since they know so much? Right? I just say thank you. Okay, thanks for the tips. Whatever. And sometimes they do provide valid tips on some of my videos, and I thank them for that, and I move on. I don't sit there and argue with them. I mean, I can do that all day, but yeah. So you got to know. You got to know when to just say, okay, that phase is good. That's good. I like it. Let's move to the next. Right. Pretty Dude says, set a goal and push yourself to get it done. Absolutely, I love that statement, Pretty Dude. All my life, I've been I love setting goals and pushing to get something done. That's one of the most fulfilling things any human being can do in life is to set a goal. Because I think that in our nature is to, fulfill our visions, whatever vision we have, whether you think God gave you the vision, whether you think you came up with it yourself, uh, whatever that is, having that stick in your head and focusing on that, not getting distracted, and pushing ahead to get that thing done. And when it's one, like they say, it's the journey, not always the destination. It's the journey to fulfilling whatever it is that you have that you set for yourself, whatever goal. Fulfilling that is the real. That's the real joy that you would get. That you get. Okay, getting there is not. Sometimes people they get what they want and they're still not happy. Matter of fact, they feel worse. They say, okay, I got there, but is that it? Because they didn't enjoy the journey. All they were looking for was getting to the destination, what they thought it would give them. Well, in actuality, it's the journey that creates the fulfilling part of all of that, right? Uh, it's what actually feeds the soul, right? Even the ups and downs, the good, the bad, and the ugly of life. It's a journey, right? But that's all of that is part of the ingredients that build us into who we are, right? So, Perfect example. If you take a seed and you drop it into the soil, it drops into the mud, right? It needs the mud. It needs the mud to fertilize. It needs that darkness. It needs it needs all of that in order for that thing to sprout. Well, if you look at life and the dark moments in your life as the mud that's necessary for the oak tree to grow, right? Whatever plant or whatever plant in nature, everything needs soil, right? And sometimes that soil is the dark parts, what we think of the dark parts of our life, when they're actually all part of the puzzle, okay? So yeah, don't forget about the journey, guys. That's what it's all about anyway, okay? All right, so perfectionism can be defined as unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations, right? Well, the way I would look at that is, you can have a very audacious goal, right, which is way out there, right? You want to get $1 trillion in your lifetime or something like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a vision like that. It's just that the unrealistic part is to think that you're just going to get that right away, right? Or and do you even want that amount of money? To be honest with you, what are you going to do with it, right? But you should set goals, smaller goals along the way, right? Smaller goals along the way to your big audacious goal, right? And that's what makes it more realistic, right? It kind of balances that big goal out because you have smaller goals and you can see the path. If I get to this point, okay, I know I can get to this point. I know I can get to that next point. No, I get the next thing you know, you have your goal. You have your goal accomplished. Okay, so it's not about being so unrealistic that in the back of your mind, like you don't even believe it yourself. That's the sad part. You got a goal and you don't even believe it yourself. What's the point? Then at that point, you're just talking. You're just flapping your gums, right? You're not real. You just want to sound good. You just want to tell people, oh yeah, I want to do. No. It's better you just don't say anything, right? And just work in silence, right? Work in silence. Everybody doesn't have to know what you're doing, and then things will show up. Let them see the fruits of your actions while you're working in the background. Okay. Okay, so now you got all that mindset stuff going on that I just laid out, and how to fine tune your mind, right? Fine tune your mind in order to achieve something. Get rid of perfectionism. Stop the procrastination. Now it comes to the practical stuff. Okay, time management. How do you manage your time, guys? How do you manage your time? Let's see here. Purdue, what Purdue say? Just realize you just paraphrased Matthew 13. What does Matthew 13 say, Purdue? I don't have a Bible in front of me, anything like that. Actually, my brother, he's the Bible guy. He probably could quote you right now, whatever that says. Not me though. But that's interesting. Matthew 13. If I had one, I would look it up. Matter of fact, give me a second here. Let me see if I can look it up online here. Do you know what verse? Verse out. What verse? Matthew 13. Give us a verse, Purdue. Let's see what how close I was to that. Give us a verse. But yeah. Anyway, guys. So time management is very important. Okay, if you can't manage your time, everything I said for the last 30 minutes doesn't make sense. It's useless, right? Because the natural evolution to what I just said is time management, because you have to be able to manage your time in order to achieve a goal, right? You have to be able to manage your time. Purdue says 13, 1 through 23-ish. Let's see here. I know I'm kind of jumping around, but I'm kind of interested in that 1 through 23 and what Purdue is talking about here. That's a long verse there. That's a lot here. I'm trying to find something here so I won't have to read everything. Yeah. I think Pretty dude, you were talking about, he was talking about the parable of the scattering seed, right? Or the seed. The farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched and they withered because they had no root. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still, other seed fell on good soil, where it produced a crop 160 or 30 times what was sown. Whoever has ears, let them hear. Okay, let's leave it at that. So, yeah, that's a good point there, Pretty Dude. Now we're looking at that verse. What kind of soil are you in right now? Are you surrounded by people that encourage you? Are you surrounded by or people that ignore you or don't take you for granted? Are you with people that actually listen to you, proud of what you're doing, push you to higher heights, inspire you? You might not even know these people, but are you surrounding yourself with people that inspire you? Are you surrounding yourself with materials, reading and watching things that inspire you, that are similar to the vision that you have? People or places that represent the goals that you want to attain in your life, versus distractions. In our community, we say ratchetness, just ignorance. That's the difference between good soil and rocky soil. Okay, rocky places, right? Or thorns, as it says, right? Some of us have a lot of thorns in our life, right? Some of us have, we're among rocks and stuff that won't fertilize us at all, right? And they could represent people, they could represent places, and they could represent not, our own habits, right? Our own habits can be representative of our own, good soil or rocky soil, right? What kind of habits do we have? And that ties into what I was just talking about, which is time management, right? If you don't have any good time, by the way, Purdy, dude, thanks for that. That was a good analogy there. If you don't have good habits in terms of time management, I should say we, not just you, but if we, don't have good time management habits, then you might as well throw your goals in the trash, okay? Because your goals depend on how you handle your time, right? And time is something you can't get. You can get money back. You can't get time back, okay? So time is more precious than money, all right? Because it's more scarce, and it's zipping by. And but if you handle it right, it can bring a whole lot of value to your life, right? If you have a goal and you got a big audacious goal, like I said, break it up into chunks of time, right? Shorter chunks, right? Shorter increments of time that you can achieve this goal, and that will give you the confidence to go on to the next and the next thing you know, that big audacious goal is you're living it, right? Like, for instance, when I made my first video, I just had one video, no people subscribing, watching, whatever. But I wasn't overwhelmed with the fact that I didn't have anybody watching. I just kept doing it, right? Every week I would put something out, just like anybody on here, on this platform, or any platform who's does it on a regular basis. You don't think about, one day, right? There's a goal for you that one day that maybe be at a certain point, but the journey itself will just, putting out content, giving, educating, and all that stuff. That's what it's about. And then one day you'll be there, and you may find that goal itself is not even really that important. What was important was the fact that you were there all the time, being as consistent as you could, and giving out as much knowledge and information as you could. That's the real fulfilling thing, right? That's the real fulfillment you get out of it. Okay. So yeah, time management, and it's just a matter of discipline, guys. If you really want something, you're going to do what you got to do to get it. Period. Point blank. Period. You're going to do what you got to do to get it, and you're not going to let anything stop you. Right. So if you got to get up, like when I was in the military, you had to get up 4 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? No questions asked. You had to get up 4 o'clock in the morning every day. You had to go do PT. You got to, you got to do this, and that, and that's how you have to be that strict on yourself. But if you know you have a purpose and you like what you do, then it won't be that hard. It becomes second nature, right? You want certain things to become second nature, because that's the only way things are going to happen, right? Otherwise, you'll be struggling with yourself every day, and you won't be happy doing what you're doing. It has to become second nature where you don't even think about it, right? Where you don't even think about it. It's usually when we start thinking about stuff, that's when everything goes haywire. When we start putting our emotions into things, second guessing stuff. Why am I doing this? Should I really be doing this and all this? That's when the problems happen, right? That's when we start to procrastinate. That's when we become perfectionists, because, we've, in a sense, you've kind of, I don't want to say lost the passion or lost the drive, but those thoughts may creep into your head every now and then. And that's going to be the test to see, hey, is this really something I want to do? Because if they creep into your head and they don't stay there and you're still doing what you're doing, that means you're on the right path. That's the test. So welcome to test at times, but because they're going to tell you if you're on the right path or not. Or it's going to tell you if you're strong enough to resist the temptation to give up, right? To give up. And guess what you get when you give up on your goal? I didn't say pivot. There's a difference between pivoting and giving up. Okay. Pivoting is saying, okay, I don't necessarily want to do it that way. Maybe I'll find another way to get to my goal, but I'm still driving for the goal. I still have that same motivation and drive. That's pivoting. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes that's the best thing to do, right? Sometimes you got to learn yourself on this journey and learn what you're really good at and where you excel at, right? And then once you learn yourself, then you full steam ahead then. But in that learning process, you could change up every night. It's like going to like 2 years of college, right? You kind of taking your electives and your little courses until you get into your major, right? So, it's okay. It's okay to be in that phase, right? But you still, but once you find out, you're still seeking, and there's something that there's a lane that's yours, right? There's a lane that's yours. And I guarantee you, it won't just be you. It'll be the universe behind you then, because you're fully focused then, right? It's not just you. It's the forces of the universe behind you. God, whatever you want to call that, it's pushing you ahead. And you'll say, man, I'm still doing this. It must be something bigger than me, right? It's not just for me. All right. So, yeah. All right. So, let's see here. So time management, guys. Procrastination may result from not managing time wisely. Being unclear about your priorities, goals, and objectives can result in putting off academic assignments to hang out with friends or other activities. I'm just reading something there. Yeah, it can result in putting not just academic assignments, putting off your life goals, what you're here for, right? All right. We have a choice. We're all here for something, right? But we have a choice to manifest that thing or not, right? It's not going to force itself on us. We have to have certain prerequisites in order for it to manifest fully in our lives. And if we have things like procrastination or other distractions, then it'll find someone else who's less cluttered with all that stuff in their head to work through, right? It's not, so don't think it's just only you. Yeah, I mean, it'll find someone else to work through. But it could be you, right? Who can express it in your own unique way that no one else can, right? But I mean, just look around. How many people are suffering from addictions and stuff like that who could have been great, very, great at what they did, but it just went down. It went another direction. They were gifted geniuses walking around just, on the streets. But something happened, right? That greatness had to go elsewhere. It had to find another channel, had to find another path. So that's one of the mysteries of life. But yeah, so you don't want to be that. You want to be great. You want to be great at what you do. And it doesn't mean you got to be famous. And I'm not talking about all that. I just, you want to accomplish certain things. You're here for a reason. Okay, you're here for a reason. So, all right. Here's another practical piece of advice. If when you're working on your goals, you want to find the right environment to place yourself in to maximize your focus. Right? What do I mean by that? if I want to go study, I'm not going to go sit in the middle of Disneyland to study, right? All that activity and distractions going around, right? If I want to focus on something, some task that requires my utmost mental focus, I'm not going to surround myself by distractions, right? I'm going to kind of shut myself out from the world for a minute. But I don't know. Some people, you go into, some people like to go to Starbucks and sit down and work and stuff. Man, it's different for different people, right? As long as you can find that space that allows you to focus. Some people like noise. Some people sleep with the TV on, or they sleep with and they get a good sleep. They need those things to fall asleep. Me, no, I don't. I can't stand that stuff. I don't want any noise. I don't want any light, any noise. I want to be in complete darkness, and I want to be, I want it to be a noise-free environment. But everybody's different, right? Some people like that stuff, and everyone's different. So, but whatever it is, you have to find that whether it's noise or not, that place that can get you in the focus mode, right? Get your mind focused and get the work done, right? Get the work done. So remember that personal problems such as financial difficulties or problems with, relationship problems, of course they're stressful. You got, yeah, that's kind of a hard one for some people, right? You're in a relationship and you're having issues with your significant other, and that could bring a lot of stress and really distract you if you're not strong. Really distract you from your goals, right? So, try to maintain peace in your relationships. Some people like drama, that's a whole nother deal. I don't know if they're getting much done in their life if they like drama that much, right? Besides drama, maybe they like drama more than anything else, but that's not a healthy soil, right? That's not a healthy soil to be in to grow. So, and maybe you're growing in other ways, but in terms of if you have a focus, if you have a goal that's not even tied to any kind of relationship with another human being, it's just you. It's just something that you were sent here to do, right? Has nothing to do with husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, none of that. But if you do have a significant other in your life and they're a major distraction to your main goal, then you might want to question that. You might want to question that or work it out or something, do something. All right. Then at the end, here's one. Finding that thing that you're working at boring. If it's your real goal, if you really want to do it, no, you're not going to be excited all the time, but you won't feel bored by it. You won't feel bored. The minute you start feeling, that's my opinion. If you feel bored doing that thing, then maybe you should question, is this really what you want to do? Right? Or you got to spice it up or something to make it, but if you're constantly feeling bored, then maybe you need to really take a hard look at that. And not to say that you got to change lanes, but maybe you're not going about it the way it should excite you, because your goals should excite you guys. They should excite you every day. Okay. I don't mean you have to be jumping for joy, but you should wake up with that inner feeling of, man, I'm just, I'm going to make this happen. I'm working towards this. There's progress here. That's how you should feel every day when you wake up pursuing your goals. Okay. Whatever that is. And if it doesn't make you feel that way, then, you may have to question that. But anyway, guys, let's see. Oh, here's something I just came across. Don't wait until you are in the mood, guys. Don't wait for feelings. This goes back to discipline, okay? Discipline is not dependent on feelings. It's dependent on actions. No, you don't feel like getting up to go to work every day, but you do it anyway, right? So it's not about feelings. You get up every day and you go to work and you bring home that paycheck, or you bring home the bacon or whatever. You didn't do that because you felt like it. You did it because you had to do it, right? There's no perfect time to pursue your goals either. So stop waiting for a specific time to retire. Like, I don't know. I don't want to say retire, because you sometimes you might want to strategize and plan on that. But don't wait to live your life, right? Don't wait to live your life. When it comes to goal setting and achieving those things, don't wait to do the necessary steps, okay, to achieve them, right? That's another trick. That's almost just as bad as perfectionism, procrastination, which is waiting. In a sense, it is waiting, right? Just different forms of it, okay? And a form of the thief of time, The thief of opportunity, right, is thinking, okay, there's a perfect time. There is no perfect time, which ties back into, like I said, perfectionism, right? Sometimes you want to tweak things so much. Well, sometimes you think there's a perfect time for things. There's no perfect time. You just jump on it today, tonight, after you get off this live. Think about what you want to do. Plan for it, strategize. I'm not saying just jump head first and without planning. There's a time to plan as well, right? But that's all part of the process. Plan, strategize, execute. Point blank, period. That's it. Okay. Make that schedule, make those goals, write it down. All the stuff you hear, yeah, write it down. If you got to create a vision board, all that stuff, that helps you find whatever it takes. All right. Whatever it takes. You got to have that attitude, whatever it takes. Okay. Aside from hitting somebody over the head and robbing all the legal stuff, right? So don't take it. You don't have to take it there, right? We want to see you. We want to see you out walking amongst the free civilians, right? We don't see you behind bars and all that. So, yeah. So anyway, guys, I hope you got something out of this. This is, like I said, one of my mindset talks, sprinkled in with a little practical, examples from what I do. Guys, hit that like and subscribe button. Okay, please share it with everybody, all your friends and family. Share the content. Okay, if you like this content, hey, I'm on here every week trying to give you guys some tips and tricks on home improvement stuff, DIY stuff. I want you guys to be handy, because I think, hey, if you really want to be free, you got to know how to build your own communities, right? You got to know how to fix your own stuff. If you're constantly dependent on others to do it for you, then you're not really free, right? Because you're dependent on people. Yeah. So you should at least have a working knowledge of tools, right? And stuff like that. So you can at least get stuff started, right? And it's also cheaper too when you know how to do stuff by yourself. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you coming on. Please rewatch the live if you want to, hear some of this stuff again, motivate yourself to go out there and make it happen. The world is yours, guys. Don't forget that. All right, guys. Have a good one. Take care. Purdy Dew said, I made the decision earlier this summer to jump into doing a craft bazaar. Sorry, not gone just yet. Craft bazaar, and see if my woodworking skills are good enough to make a living. It's tough taking that leap, but so far I'm loving it. That's the point, Purdy Dew. Yeah, I want to end on that note, Purdy Dew. As a matter of fact, let me pin that up there. Think about that. Think about what Purdy Dew said. Okay, as long as you love it, everything else is just kind of it's not that it's not that important. Everything else works for the good, right? As long as you love it, right? All right, so guys, take care. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.